episode 58 with you guys. Do you know who I am? Tej the Maniac. You know where to find me. Everything's on the screen. Obviously, hit that subscribe button on my YouTube channel, Phumblepodcast. As many of you have noticed, I have a new logo. It's on now, and you guys can see that. Thanks to Nick Arts. You can give him a follow. Amazing artist, logo designer. I was lucky enough to find him on another person's page and reached out, and he was able to hook me up and help me out. So thank you, Nick. Speaking of designs, I have a awesome friend, first of all, that we have not seen each other in person in way too long, which we're going to change. Her husband and I used to be in a band together, and we are also going to change that so we can jam again. He doesn't know this yet, but he'll hear this. My guest is none other than Gina Iwata. We used to work together. That's what's really cool.
Yes, we're also co-workers at a point.
Yes.
We didn't really get to interact too much when we worked together, but
different parts of the company we worked at. She was more on the logistical side. I was more on the teaching side, but it won't.
And then they had me teaching too, so I'm just like, you should have just put me up with Pej. I know, like we would work well together. I would like stage direct, and I would just like Pej could do his thing, I would have done mine. But maybe that's something else we can change too.
I know. We should. It was fun though. It was fun while it lasted. It was a great opportunity for me, and thanks to you for giving me that opportunity. It was your recommendation, so thank you.
No, thank you for filling in. I couldn't think of anyone better, really, to like handle that kind of job.
I could think of many people that were.
Oh, stop! No. Well, I'm glad you didn't say anything. I'm glad you're the one who got the job then.
Thank you. No. So let me do a quick intro on Gina. Gina likes to take an opportunity to break out their sewing machines, sewing for theaters, the runway, the stage, or masks to go to the grocery store. Gina uses over 10 years of sewing experience to manipulate fabric with thread. When they're not sewing, they're learning about how to participate in mutual aid in their community and escaping to fantasy worlds by playing Dungeons and Dragons, which I have not yet learned how to play, but I know that's a very popular game, and I know many friends who are playing that.
As an actor, I think you would quite enjoy something like Dungeons and Dragons. A lot of improv and a lot of interacting in character, and it's kind of like as a collective, we're world building and telling stories with each other, with our characters. So I think you would probably get really into it and probably be really animated.
Yeah, I can definitely be animated. Even when I don't know the rules of the game, I kind of act my way through it.
Right.
So.
Well, you can be a very charismatic character and make sure that we don't talk ourselves into fights. You can make sure that we stay out of trouble.
All right, cool. So then that's also what we're adding.
Yes, we are adding that to the list.
You're going to teach me that? Yep. I'm coming over and we're going to play.
Yep.
So tell me about this, your passion for sewing and that in general. When did you said 10 years, but I know for as long as I've known you, you love doing that stuff. There's one behind us right there.
I know my latest creation that I'm still trying to get the lace for it to finish it, but the base is basically there, and
I love it.
That's my current baby at the moment. But
so, describe that one. Let's start there.
You're on TikTok. And for those who are not on TikTok, or at least somewhat on social media, there's a very popular dress style, and they have like these very poofy princess sleeves. And I was just like, God, I really would like a dress like that. But I'm seeing the prices for what people are charging for them. Just like, I don't know if I can drop that much money on a dress, but I can drop way less money on that, on fabric and some thread, and go to town on that.
Yeah.
So I kind of just wanted to make myself a dress, which I haven't sewn anything for myself in a long, long time. It's usually for other people. So this was a real big treat for me. And I learned a lot about it. I've kind of done, oh God, I'm trying to not use sewing terms. I'm trying to kind of use
Okay, that's okay. Use them, and then I'll ask as we go.
Sure. So like the chest part or the bodice and the skirt I've done previously, but the whole kind of poofy princess sleeve was a new thing to tackle. And it wasn't actually that hard when I was researching how people were doing it. But it was just really cool to not only come back into sewing for myself, but to also kind of introduce something new so I can like learn and build off of that.
That's awesome. What about so you said you have clients, you have people who you sew for. How did you get that name? Obviously, you're on TikTok. By the way, plug your TikTok so people can follow you.
Yeah, of course. I'm Pixie Fashions on all social media.
It's right here on the screen. Follow her.
we'll put it in there. But God, I remember being very small and watching my mom sew and thinking that was like the coolest thing ever. And like what it really was is, you all can't tell because I'm sitting down. Like I'm 5 feet and my mom's also short. So when she was sewing, she was like hemming her pants. But for me, that was like, I was like, she's building ball gowns, like, wow. Like, because I'm a little girl and like or a little child and this is what I'm seeing. Yeah. And like, I don't know, that I just remember being very small and her working on the sewing machine and being really inspired, like that's what I want to do. And my dad was initially studying architecture. So like he would draw with me. So I was kind of trying to pit these two things that my parents did that I really like loved about them and something that they could do and kind of mushed it together. And I was just like, oh, I can do fashion design, which I used to really love the drawing part. And I didn't take my first sewing class till I was about like 16 or 17. And sewing didn't come to me until a few years after because it took a lot of patience, which I did not have. And I don't know if it's just part of growing up or there was like an event in my life that maybe like you need to be more patient and have more time accept that things take time. But as soon as that like clicked, like I just feel like I've gotten better with sewing. Rather than just like giving up when a stitch isn't straight or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, it all kind of started just from like my parents influencing me and me really looking up to them. And really it was cosplay that got me into wanting to go into fashion design later. But I have to really thank my parents and being a nerd that got me into sewing and fashion, basically.
That's all. So cosplay. Now that's a good segue too, because I wanna, because actually they're all related, like you said. This is, you put the worlds together. And again, on her TikTok, she shows some of those cosplays and also her projects that she's worked on. What got you into that, to cosplaying and all that?
I was always just into pop culture as a kid, and my dad really was into showing me like cartoons he used to watch. So like I was like the kid at school who knew like a lot about Speed Racer, like more than like most kids my age like would know about stuff like that. So like kind of like older anime and newer anime basically branch off like, I like this stuff, I should go explore this more and get into more of this. And I was just thinking about it too. Do you remember Suncoast?
Oh, that it's vaguely, I remember it vaguely, but yeah. For
all the youngins out there who don't know what it is, it was literally a store that you went in and it sold DVDs before like we could ever stream anything. And that's where I would get my anime, because like it's not like, I mean, I guess you can download it and watch it. Yeah. Watch like a pirate. But like I didn't know how to do that as a kid. So I literally would have to like ask my parents to take me to Downtown Plaza so I can go buy the actual anime DVDs. And I think that's where I found my first flyer for an anime convention. And I was just like, I should go. Oh, SAC Anime, which
Anime. Wow.
I staff at too. So full circle.
No way. That's cool. That's awesome. That's really... Yeah, it's one thing I know you've gone to with Sean is the Comic-Con, right? Yeah, and that's something San Diego. That's also
going to be on your list.
Yeah, well, it's been on my damn list, and then it's like, and then the pandemic hit, and everything was like stopped, and then it was. I know. So then because I actually got on the wait list like in 2018, I want to say 2019.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I got on the wait list and everyone I know and their mothers were there. And I'm like, are you kidding? No, you guys were there. And then like a bunch of other friends in LA went to it that I knew. And then like one of my best friends, Dean, who's been on here, he was at it. He's like, dude, and then he texted me like the link. He's like, you got to go on the wait list. There's like a whole thing. I'm like, oh man, there's like, this thing is like almost like you got to plan for it well in advance. And like you said, patience and me, I lacked patience for it. And then I also lacked organization, which is just like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, I really got to get my shit together. So like, but then like, so I finally got on the wait list, but then the pandemic hit and then I didn't do it again. So, but I will go.
Well, maybe it's like a very not well-kept secret, but even if you can't get on the list, Pej, I think you should still go down there during the time Comic-Con is happening. Because the first few years, I think the first 2 years Sean went with me, he was on the list but couldn't get in, kind of thing. But I think a lot of these organizations have learned that they could promote a lot of their shows or toys or whatever that company is promoting if they decide not to do it in the convention center and they like rent out a hotel room or not a room but like a whole like conference room, and you can, and they just let it free for the public to go in, because like Nintendo has their own Nintendo Lounge, so they get a whole floor of one of the hotel rooms, and they just like put all their promotional stuff. You can like do the demos of the games or like their toys or the electronic type of things. And like you don't need a badge or to be on the list. You can just stand in line and go in and whatnot. And there's like 80 other events down there happening the whole week that you can just do. So I would still recommend going down there if you can't get on the list, because you can definitely explore and still kind of get a taste of Comic-Con without having a badge.
I'm doing that for sure. And I'll be in touch with you guys and maybe we all go together.
Yeah, we won't let you, we're as a seasoned people, won't just throw you to the wolves. Okay. We'll kind of guide you. And I think after your first or second day, you'll be like, I understand what's going on.
Yeah, it's like it's a whole thing, right? It's huge.
It's huge. I didn't realize how big I knew it was big until I went there, and then I was just like, oh, it's not just the convention center, it's like the whole city.
Wow,
it was that big.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you met like some of your like heroes, quote unquote, like in the anime world or the Marvel or the DC world that were there that you were like, what, like, and then like, or maybe celebrities who've played those roles in films, like, have you gotten to see them like up close?
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I'm way into like voice actors.
Oh, okay.
More than, it's so weird. Like on-screen actors, I seem to like not recognize face, but I can recognize the voice, you know?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
So I go to see like the voice actors because I can recognize them by their voice and all the things they've been in. But what I go to often is the Costume Guild. So basically people who have worked on like Hollywood films talk about kind of their craft and working costume there. So I kind of go, I don't get to meet them. I don't think they particularly have a meet and greet that often, but I at least get to sit in like the audience and bask in like their wealth and knowledge of like the industry.
Yeah. And then do they open it up to like questions to the public?
Yeah, I would say about 10 minutes to public, and like I never have anything to ask. I'm just like happy to be there, know? Yeah. I don't know how people come up with questions because I'm just like, I just want to be here.
What's the coolest thing you've seen there that like you hadn't seen prior?
Oh my God. There's so many to list. I'm trying to think of my favorite thing that's happened to me there.
I mean, it's like, because I know, like, I've just seen like videos here and there, and like, there's always these like, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's like the prototypes, right? There's like a bunch of prototypes there that like that haven't even like been shown online, let alone like in a anime or a movie or whatever,
right?
Or even on a comic. Like it's like new ideas that are being presented, and is that something that is there one of those that you saw then and then you saw it come to fruition and then you're like, oh man?
Yeah, I see like some toy designs, and for like video games, it's not like a trailer, but it's like the very like the skeletons of the characters maybe like moving around and that stuff, but it's not really textured, or you kind of can't tell, and they're all like stick figure type of things, but that's really cool. I think my favorite thing at Comic-Con, which again, it's not a badged event, anyone can just go to this part, they actually have a couture fashion show based off of the pop culture like stuff. So there'll be like couture gowns based off like Iron Man or whatnot, and it's just a fashion show of these designers making these really like Met Gala like level type of designs and like sending them down the runway and us just like ogling it. Like that's probably cool. My favorite thing. So
that's neat. The designs and all that, and it's I just love it because like for me, like my biggest thing that I probably go after, and I'm by no means like as experienced as you guys are on the intricacies of this world, because it's like I'm much more like surface level, and I don't even pretend that like I know much, because I don't, but I just love the creative side of all of it. Like I think I would just be just wanting to see how, like, wanting to pick the brains of all these like amazing artists that are there, and just like how did you come up with this character? Or how did you come up with this design? How did you come up, like what inspired you? It's like, to me, like that is interesting to me, and it can go with it can cross over to any of those worlds that there, those sub worlds of like Marvel, DC, anime. And it's just interesting. Are you guys going this coming year?
Oh, supposedly it's on, but we're waiting things out to see if it's actually going to be going on or not. But so it's all it's kind of out of our hands at this point. I get it. Unfortunately.
It's in like late summer, isn't it?
Late July.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll be vlogging it if I'm there. So if look out for San Diego Comic-Con. I know they're in a bunch of places now, not just San Diego, but
well, it's amazing how popular that's become now. Like there's just people creating conventions all over the world, and it's not just like comic book related. Like
exactly,
but it's really cool, and it's really nice to just have a hub of like people with similar interests just coming and being social. It's really nice.
Do you see yourself representing your brand in any of these at one point?
There's I like going to cons that have a fashion or costume element to it, because then there's some networking, and the funny part is I meet a lot of people with similar like sewing aspirations on like Instagram, and then we'll figure out what cons we're all going to, and then we kind of meet up there. So it's just like, I know you, but like this is the first time like I got to like meet you in person. So it's almost like we use it as an opportunity to see each other in person and to continue the talks and conversations we have that we already do in our DMs and comments on like social media.
I love that about social media, because I think it's bringing you're meeting people you never would have ever been able to meet otherwise. Social media has shrunk the world in a sense. My God. It's made us all like close. And then that's actually like, and I love that we're in a time right now that nobody is considered weird anymore. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Everybody is everybody is like applauded for who they are, right? And that's something I didn't have as a kid, or I didn't have growing up. So it's like it's almost like brought me renewed motivation and like inspiration to like, why not, right? Like I'm not the old head yet, you know what I mean?
You're not.
I'm just 36. Like and by the way, that's all relative. It's all perspective on age. Like it's like, I want to be able to do this stuff as long as I'm like able to walk and like able to like have energy, and I'm hoping that goes into my late 70s, 80s. But whatever. Like it's beautiful what's come of it, and it's just starting. Like I feel like with this whole metaverse that's taking over now, like I feel like now we're going to start digitally hanging out with each other. Like someone in like South Africa and I can be hanging out, or like someone in Australia. Like it's mind-boggling, but it's so cool because I have no idea what's coming from that. You know what I mean? That's what's cool.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I know that there's more, but I just can't mentally conceive what it is.
And it's just it's a great indicator of like how powerful our imaginations can be, right? Like you with the cosplay designs and like how far you take that and you, it's all in your hands. And there's no, like, by the way, there's no like wrong idea. Right. I don't think there's any, as long as it's filled with inclusivity and like love and it's just and it's your passion and you're doing it for the right reasons. Go at it, man. Whatever design. And it doesn't matter what people think, right? Some people might love it and that's all that matters. And some people that don't, they don't have to look at it. I'm not just talking about you. I'm talking about anybody, any design, any person who's creating anything.
Yeah, but, exactly.
It's we went through the dark side of social media, like maybe in the past, maybe 5-10 years when it really took over, like, and a little bit of that is still around, but I think people are starting to see the real beauty in the potential here, and with the whole metaverse and all that, it's going to be. I just can't wait for the next 10 years. Like, what's going to happen?
I can't even imagine.
Like, where do you think we're going to be? Like, I feel like I'm not even going to be real in 10 years. I'm going to just be like,
exactly. That's how I feel. Or like, it's not. We aren't going to have phones anymore. It's going to like be a chip in our hand, and we just kind of like do this, and it lights up, and we just point.
Well, I mean, the Google Glasses came and
oh, that's right.
Yeah, and so like that was it. I think they're gonna come up with something that is not like as much as like a visible thing physically, and it might be more like hidden.
Yeah,
maybe contacts, or maybe like something in your ear. Like I'm like, and all the conspiracy theory, like oh, they're trying to control us. I'm like, we're already being controlled anyway. It doesn't matter. Like for me, it's like, that's fun. Like let's I want to like see like if I can just like tap something and I can like look, like if I'm lost or if I'm like trying to figure out what something is, I can just take a picture of it and it tells me. I mean, we can do that with our phones now, but I'm saying like being able to do that without any like physical gadgets. Anyway, well, so I can't wait to see your brand represented at these big events and more. Like what are some of your goals with it? Like, are you planning to launch a website potentially of your designs, like maybe go into production, mass production?
Well, my goal was to be basically going to these conventions and vendoring. The pandemic has kind of put a hold on that. But I mean, it's not that far-fetched, but I actually do like the whole like sewing aspect of it and like feeling the fabric and like being a part of that. I'm not quite sure if I want to do mass production. I'm kind of just happy doing small batches, just all completely handmade, and that being it. And it's not a whole exclusivity thing at all. It's kind of more of a and it's not really for like the price of it either. I guess just like
you
better
want to be
for the environment,
I get it. Yeah.
I just don't want to like send out like be Forever 21 and send out like a million clothes that are just going to land up in like a landfill like a few months later. I'd rather just try to be as ethical with my consumption as possible with it.
That's important. That's very important. For me, if I were in your shoes and I'm like thinking about that, my main thing is I never want to take something that I love to do and turn it into something that it becomes a point of stress.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like the demand. I mean, obviously, you can always hire people and then you can always like grow the business. But to me, like I like certain aspects of creating my content, like my acting stuff or my like I like being on the driver's side because I actually enjoy it. Like I enjoy like coming up with the idea initially and then putting that on paper, making a sketch out of it, and then putting that onto this camera, testing out like which angles work. Like, I like that. Like,
that's great.
It is. And obviously
that's rare.
It's rare. It is rare. But I think it's rare because that reason. I think and I'm sure when this thing gets to a level of notoriety that I'm going to have to build a team. I'm going to have to, and I'm working on that to not be so controlling of like every aspect and then be like, but I think the greatest inventors have had a say in all parts of the project. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. But,
well, I feel like if you got a team, I would trust you to find a group that would hold the same like values as you. So I don't feel like you would have to like worry about like the whole like managing aspect of them,
Right now, my biggest thing is collaborations. I love collaborating, kind of like yourself. Yeah. Like you're reaching out to other artists and you're looking at them. So yeah,
I love working with people.
Yeah, me too. I like working with other actors, comedy, content creators. Like, a lot of them are in LA, of course, but there's a bunch here in Sacramento, and I want to put Sacramento on the map. Like that's one of my goals. Like I want us to be known as like, oh yeah, there's a lot of talent here, which there are, like yourself, right? Yeah. In all fields of entertainment and art. So it's awesome, man. It's fun. It's great. I feel like I found, like, obviously I still love my music and I still love singing.
And you're incredibly talented at it. Just put that in there before you continue.
You're kind. You're kind. Thank you. By the way, her husband, Sean, he's a vicious guitarist. Like he scares me how good he is. Like
he talks himself down. He's way better than he sells himself.
I think
it's disgusting how good he is.
Most artists are like that. They like to, they don't like to pat themselves on the back. But Sean has always been that way. He's a humble guy, and he's but put him behind the guitar, man. And there's a couple videos of us, if you guys can find them online.
Easter eggs.
There's some Easter eggs. Go see if you can find it. First of all, you have to figure out what our band was called, and then secondly, you have to figure out what songs we covered, because we did a couple back in 2009, 10. We were still at my parents' house.
Wow. I definitely did not know him then.
Right. Yeah, I've known Sean since community college, not even like university. I've known him since. Yeah, and he'll tell you, we met in a commercial music ensemble. I remember the class, and I remember the teacher, and then I came in, this brown guy just showed up. I'm like, I'm here for the commercial music. And they're like, yeah, what do you do? I was like, I sing and play piano. And they're like, all right, we're going to try this song, Turn the Page. And we ended up playing that song with our band. Like that song became Sean and my first project together. And it was so fun. And then we did Life in the Fast Lane. We did that. Yeah, it was like, and then another friend of ours, Dennis, who was also in that class. Yeah. And he was in there singing. And like,
is that cool. How you all met?
Commercial music ensemble. Yep.
I didn't know
we were all in the same building.
Oh my God. And you all were assigned to each other. It sounds like it wasn't.
It was we just all met. I was looking for a guitarist at that time for my band. I had a drummer. And I had a bass player, Eddie and Sam. And then it was like, we need a guitarist, man. I don't play guitar. Do you play guitar? He's like, no. He's like, okay, let me go see. And then I went to this commercial music ensemble, and like, I saw Sean, and then he's just like in the corner doing his thing.
Quiet.
And I'm like, quiet guy. I'm like, but he was like playing the style of music that we were into, and I'm like, wait a minute, and that's how it starts, man. And then it was cool. And then what's more important in the band is the friendship that built from that, And so, well, hey, once again, everyone go follow Gina on her TikTok. Is there any other channels you have?
I'm Pixie Gift Fashions everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. What else is out there?
YouTube? Are you on YouTube?
Not yet.
Okay.
But that will eventually be a thing. Hopefully do tutorials soon.
I'd love that. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, follow Gina. It was amazing having you on. We're going to catch up in person officially. Yes. And This has been Fumble Podcast episode 58. And I couldn't have anybody better than this person right here, my good friend Gina.
Too kind. He's being too kind.
You deserve all of it. You work hard and you love what you do, and that's important because it's good inspiration for people who are trying to figure that out. The youngins, like you said.
Yeah.
Make sure you love what you do. That's so crucial. Thank you guys. Make sure you subscribe Fumble Podcast on YouTube and Spotify. This is out as of right now. This is Tuesday, so you're watching this. And I'm Pej the Maniac. There's Gina, and I will see you on the next one.